Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to another episode of Geekly Reveal. It's that show that brings you geeky news on a weekly basis. Geeky Weekly? Get it? It's Geekly. It's great. It's awesome. As always, it's me. It's your host, Dom aka but the Dom all over the internet. And once again, I am joined by the leanest, quarantinist, not meanest co-host. Save me, please. Who are you again?
You called me the leanest quarantinist co-host last week, too, I think.
I don't think I've ever said quarantinist. That's terrible. I should have enough said it this time.
It's Stephanie, aka Captain Steph on Twitter, the Snow Here on Tumblr. Here again for another episode, and hey, the chair has rotated again. And
that's right. I'm now at my 1080. And
1080 avalanche.
1080 avalanching right back to you. It's me, Eric.
Eric, Steph, how y'all doing today?
Is it? The thing about the weekend is, I think it's shorter.
They just don't happen.
Is it shorter now that we don't have commutes? What the hell?
So to me, I think yours seems shorter, because I felt like you were working on Friday at a time that I'm like, it is clearly after work hours. Before you had dinner, I think you were telling the group chat. I don't remember what you all had for dinner on a Friday, because why retain that knowledge? It's none of my business.
I don't remember what I had for dinner on a Friday.
But no, it seems like you guys your weekends seem a little bit shorter from my perspective, but mine, well, I don't have a job before quarantine even started, so my weekends have just, it's a disaster is what it is. So, no, but weekends are nice. They give us a little break. You all don't work on the weekends, even if it's from home. My partner doesn't work on weekends, so it's nice.
I'm not
a plus.
with that.
Yeah.
It is in fact good to have days off. I agree.
And new stuff comes out on the weekends, so it's just wonderful, you know.
Get that
also,
content.
Also the weekends feel the same for me as weekends, because that's when all my friends are available and not working. So there's still a delineation. And that's when Overwatch is on. But listeners, I want to ask you. They say you're supposed to put the call to action early in the episodes and at the end. So I want to call for comments, ratings, and reviews. So if you listen to this podcast on Apple or something, give us a rating, give us some stars or something, 1 through 5.
Shout us out.
And tell us who should be the third rotating host. Just kidding, it's me.
Yeah, leave us ratings, reviews, leave comments on the Twitter.
Tell us which of the hosts is your favorite. It's me.
Okay. Tell us which one of your hosts
as the leanest
is also there. Tell us which co-host is also there. That would be me. I'm not rotating or the favorite, but I'm cool. So that's worth something.
Just constantly spinning. That's how I do the show.
Tornado mode activated. But yeah, leave us.
It's really impressive that your audio works so smoothly.
My mic spins
despite
with me now. I got a new one.
It's that new spinning mic. It's on a rotating stand. It's a tripod. It's more like I don't have a joke. I was going to say tripod into something else. I was going to say crypod, but the re-tripod.
That round desk from Parks and Recreation that Ron Swanson sits at and just like slowly spins to avoid people. That's me, but with a microphone.
I was going to say like the keyboard that Zorak had in Space Ghost Coast to Coast. If you want to go back in time. But also send us emails if you want to put listener questions in. We'll try to add those in if we get some. So, but let's we're all doing well considering we're spinning, we're cool, we're existing. Let's talk about some nerdy stuff, right? Like you want to talk about some pop culture?
Why not?
What should we start with? We have a few topics. Do we want to start with the most recent or the least recent?
Let's start with whatever is not Animal Crossing, since we started with that last week.
Oh, and here I was about to say, how about an Animal Crossing update? Guess I'm wrong.
We'll get to it. Let's make the people wait for it.
Sorry that you're wrong. Sorry about your being wrong.
I'm here to make people wrong when I can. No, I watched The Midnight Gospel this week.
What is The Midnight Gospel?
So it's a new show from directed or produced by Pendleton Ward of Adventure Time fame. He's the one who kind of made that. And
you were telling me about this at some point, and I don't remember if it was actually on tape or...
It was not, because you told me about it too, and I remember.
Yeah, I was just talking to you all about it when Eric was testing his new mic, is when I was talking about it.
That's when we were talking about.
But yeah, it's a Netflix show they released.
All the voice chats just run together at this point.
That's what life's all about. It actually relates to the show in a way. The Midnight Channel, or the Midnight Gospel, not the Midnight Channel.
I know what the Midnight Channel is.
That's Persona. I know. The Midnight Gospel is a show on Netflix that released on 420 because it was trippy visuals and graphics and discussion about drugs sometimes. Kind of in the animation style of Adventure Time, but think, hey, you know, Pendleton Ward doesn't really do drugs, but he really wants people to think that this was made on drugs. Like, if you thought Adventure Time was made on drugs, you're really going to think this was, even though none of them were. However, it was written by somebody I believe has tried drugs. I think some of the episodes mention it. But it's basically a podcast, right? That's animated. So this guy, Duncan Trussell, has a podcast he's been doing for a few years now, it seems like. And the audio is excerpts that are taken from that and then retooled a little bit to like make some stuff fit the story that they're telling in the episode. And it's about like meditation and, you know, like what does like death mean and stuff like that. And like some heavy topics about like our place in the universe, all wrapped up in a sort of the rapper is WRAPPER, not hip hop rapper, is a guy.
Chance, the rapper.
It's Chance. There he is. This is all kind of tied up in a backdrop of there's this guy who lives in some space place and he wants to do a space cast. So he goes and do a simulation. His computer sends him into simulations where it seems like all these are alternate Earths that are dying or like about to be extinct planets. And he goes in there with a different avatar. Yeah, really weird, right? And these conversations were years ago, some of them. But he goes into these universes, talks to a different person, and they'll just be somebody dealing with whatever apocalypse or situation they're going on in. But the main character, Clancy, who's Duncan's character, will talk to somebody, and they'll just talk while wild shit is going on in the background. And then he goes back as he is about to die. He ejects from the simulation and goes back to the real world and brings a souvenir with him. There's like philosophical chat, and there's some deep, heavy topics in there. There's a little, like, there's some violence, some squick kind of stuff. If you've ever seen like Super Gel or anything off Adult Swim, you kind of know what this will look like. But I think it's a really good show for getting like some of the meditation type deep podcast vibes. And it only has 8 episodes that are half an hour each, and I really recommend watching all of them, mostly because the 8th episode is it's one of those episodes that will like really hit you. It's not there's some twisty stuff in there. There's not like a super overarching narrative. I mean, they kind of have one just for the sake of continuity. Mm-hmm. But the 8th episode is one that will make you feel some feelings and will be a heavy topic. So if stuff like that's hard for you, I would steer clear of that. But it was definitely a tearjerker for me.
I can't do feelings.
Yeah, so if feelings are hard for you,
what are those?
Or if
thanks.
Or if death is particularly triggering, like not people dying necessarily, but like the thought of it,
like thinking about death.
Yeah, which kind of is for me, but this stuff is really fascinating for me. So I would avoid it for that reason. But it was a wild ride to watch, and I'm sure it'd be a hell of a ride if you were on some sort of mind-altering substance, because the animation is pretty wild. Mm-hmm. But I recommend it very highly. I'm sure it's going to win like Emmys and awards and stuff. I'd like to have a deeper discussion about it with spoilers one day, but I don't want to spoil it for you or the audience. But it was just really, really good. Really interesting subject matter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're all homestuck for a little while, so might as well watch it and do a spoiler cast.
We are all homestuck.
Hey, if you all want to watch it, it's something that could definitely just be listened to. Like, you could put on in the background and not watch it, since it is like very podcast-like. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't recommend that as like the ideal viewing. If you're just watching it to catch up with your friends, like just listen to the first 7 episodes and then watch the 8th one. But I recommend watching. I think it's 8 episodes. When I say 8th, I mean the last one. But I recommend watching it and listening to it. It's pretty fun. They did a good job.
Nice.
So, also, if you like the idea of if you don't like the subject matter and fan base or burping in Rick and Morty, but you like the conversational speaking style. Like there's not a lot of shows that have natural speaking in them, such as like, oh hey, what are you doing there? Like, how are we going to do this? Something that sounds more natural. Mm-hmm. This has a lot of the positives of that without the negatives, because it is just repurposed audio from a podcast. So.
You sold me on it's like not Rick and Morty, and I was like, well, cool.
There you go.
Glad
it's like Rick and Morty, but not.
I saw some review that says, all the stuff that people say about Rick and Morty being smart, the show actually is those things. Like, it's as smart as Rick and Morty wants to be. Which was an interesting point to make.
Interesting take.
Yeah, but...
I'll be the judge of that. No,
hey,
I mean, I won't, but, you know.
Well, go for it. I mean, I think The Midnight Gospel is a fun show. It's definitely trippy. But it doesn't feel like it's just trippy for shock value or anything like that.
Trippiness is shit's sake.
It would be the first show based on a podcast I've watched, so...
I haven't seen any shows based on podcasts before.
Ricky Gervais did a cartoon based on his podcast with Stephen Merchant and Carl Pilkington, where Carl tells stories about the dumb things he does in life. And they animated them.
I thought you were going to say the My Brother and Me TV show, which I still haven't watched.
That too, yes.
Also but is that based off the podcast, or is it just based off the guys who made a podcast?
It's like, it's the same format, right? They're just like, they're answering...
a single question per episode.
A single,
And also, it's technically different because it has the Oxford comma, whereas the podcast does not.
That's how you differentiate the brand. That's important.
Yes,
completely
that's how they
things.
keep the brands different, is that Oxford comma.
Is that for real?
That is Justin McElroy's reason for it, at least.
Infuriating.
That's funny. I like it. But yeah, that's what I did this week. Give yourself some time to sit on it and just think, Don't rush through it. Well, I mean, go ahead and rush through it, but don't rush through it after the fact,
Rush through it, but don't rush through the thinking about it.
What I mean, like...
Think slowly, watch fast.
Prepare yourself for some aftercare, I think, is what I would say. I haven't heard the term aftercare used other than in BDSM, but I think it's worth using in, like, real life,
This show will tie you up with ropes and spank you. Give yourself some aftercare.
I mean, I think
that's what they call it when you get a tattoo, is aftercare, when you're, like, putting it, like, Aquaphor on it and shit.
Well, it's less fun to say that this show will give you a tattoo.
It will tattoo itself on your brain.
Spankingly. No, I think that is something we should think about more often, is that I heard, and this is, I'm using this as a forced segue into your topic, if you're fine with that. Setup segue. Let's say setup segue.
Shoehorn away.
I heard shoehorn. Perfect. Thank you. I heard a lot of people felt this way about Parasite, actually. Was they needed some time to sit and just think about that, just, it was really good.
Oh,
I don't know what you're going to say. I'm assuming here, but I've heard people say, that's just a movie I sat with a lot and just kept thinking about it. And I think we live in a fast-paced society now. Well, we did.
Sure live in a society.
There's another movie about that, though.
Yeah, with like lots of screens and tech and
Tigger,
stuff. So we don't.
Fucking Tigger noise you just made.
I hate Tigger so much.
Okay.
Hate Tigger.
I do. I think it's just a side note. I think Tigger is just like a weird way for them to get away with saying like the N word. Like they make him sound different. He's always jumping around. He's a nuisance. Like I was like, I see what you did there. I that's fine. That's fair.
The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things.
Yeah, they're jellicle.
No, they're not. That's not the word.
Tiggers are not poos. Basically,
you just spoiled cats.
Cats can't be spoiled any more than it was. No, but I think sometimes we should give our time to sit around with media after we've watched it, not just like necessarily rush to make our takes online and be like, oh, hey, I can spoil it before everyone else did. Like,
you should smoke a cigarette with the media.
Yeah, after you've watched Endgame, just like sit and be hype about it. You don't have to rush to Twitter to be like, I saw it too, let me in the club. Like, I can join the spoiler. Like, just relax, enjoy it. Like,
just calm down.
Just be chill. So.
Yeah, so I watched Parasite on Friday. And yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, it's definitely a movie that, like, I mean, I don't want to, like, obviously it's fucking good, like...
Oh, wow, that's a hot take. I guess
it's a hot take, but, so I know it's, like, not guaranteed that just because something won a Best Picture Oscar that it's actually a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, we know this about many other films.
Green Book?
Hot take.
Green Book, hot take. I think Crash won Best Picture.
Oh, yeah.
Best Picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it solved racism.
I'm glad it did.
Glad that's over. Phew.
No comment.
But, yeah, so, like, it was like, it took us a while, me and my roommate, to, like, just sit down and actually watch it, just because, watching something that has subtitles, like we were talking about, like, requires a commitment of, like, you have to sit and actually pay attention to this thing. And, like, this whole weekend I've been making cloth masks to mail to all of my, like, coworkers, friends, and loved ones. So it's hard to look at a sewing machine and then also at subtitles. So, but put the sewing machine away, metaphorically. I did not put it away because it's heavy and it's a pain in the ass to put it away and then get it out again. And, like, we sat down and watched it, and it's got layers, man. Because it's like, it did not end the way I expected it to end. Like, even though, like, there were some aspects of how it ended that surprised me, but, like, a twist comes in, like, at the beginning of the third act that's just like, oh, I wasn't expecting that at all. And everything from then on is just, like, catastrophe after catastrophe based on the, like, selfish decisions of the people before. Like, of the people up to that point. And it's just, like, really, I don't know, it's, like, very compelling exploration of the way people with privilege can act, but also the way that access to privilege is, and, like, I don't know, it's just very, but it was also really funny, but also, like, a little horror movie-y at times, and, like, just an incredible movie, I would say. Definitely recommend.
And
Not my usual.
It's on Hulu, right?
Yes, it's on Hulu. And you'll be relieved to know that it is hard-subbed English, because we went to turn the subtitles on, and we were like, there just says Spanish here. Because I watched My Hero on Hulu, and I've been watching it subbed for a while since the dub was behind, and those subs are not hard-subbed. Like, you have to turn on the English subs for the Japanese audio, which I feel like is, like, an interesting choice.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
They know who their audience is. They know there's some weebs that are like, no, I can understand this. Or want to try. I don't know.
It's like, the thing is, like, if I was watching, like, a slice of life anime or something, I might give it a shot of trying to understand what they were saying to each other. But there's so much made up bullshit in My Hero, like, Genturu Criminaru, like...
You would understand that, though.
Like, I would understand that, but, like, it would be like us trying to parse out that fucking amiibo card, like, Ricardo,
Sure.
Oh, it's Ricardo, like... Just, like...
Speaking of Animal Crossing names, before you get back, I saw, like, someone post, like, the trophies from Smash Melee of the Animal Crossing game that wasn't out yet, and it's like, KK Slider's name wasn't KK, it was, like, Tokekiki or something?
Yeah, that was his Japanese name.
Yeah. And, like, I didn't even realize, like, oh, yeah, whatever. It was this weird dog with a guitar. It's from some fucking game that we don't play yet. Little did I know in 2001 what would happen in 2020. And that's the only thing I couldn't have predicted. Anyway.
It's the only thing about 2020 we couldn't have predicted.
No, everything else you can draw on a graph.
It's like election of Obama to election of Trump. To pandemic, like...
Yeah.
That was the part that I didn't get, though.
The pandemic?
Yeah. The Obama-Trump stuff was like... I've seen that. The Simpsons told us that.
Oh, true. But the Simpsons didn't figure out, like... I mean, and I guess unless Joe Biden... Like, not to get super political on our Geekly podcast, but, like, unless Joe Biden dies before he becomes president, we're not going to get Lisa Simpson in the White House.
Well, that's the thing. The
his
Simpsons
running mate has to pick up.
So, the only thing that I'll consider canon about that is Lisa Simpson becomes president 40 years after she's whatever age she is in the show. Seeing as the show's still on and she's still 10, it still could happen.
I don't think she's even 10. I think she's supposed to be like 9.
Shit, I was way off.
Sorry, yeah, that was really pedantic of me.
That's funny. No,
well,
I think
actually,
and I don't even know. Like, that could be completely wrong.
I have no idea. She probably is like 8, 9, or 10.
You know, there is the internet, but
fuck that. I wouldn't be surprised if she was like 6th and we just was overestimating it, but whatever. But you were talking about Parasite and its hard-coded subtitles.
I've really said all I feel like I need to say about Parasite. Like, it's a really good movie. It's 2 hours long. You should watch it. And then you should talk to me about the ending, because it was really, like, bittersweet and very shocking and, really wild, I guess. Very,
awesome.
Interesting shit. Consequences of capitalism.
Does it require a subscription to Hulu, or is it one that you can watch for free with ads? Do you know?
That I do not know, because my roommate does pay for Hulu.
Ah, okay.
She watches so much TV. That's not a judgment, I just mean, like, it makes sense for her.
Yeah. I'm happy that I play a few games, so I don't have to keep buying stuff, because if I had to pay for as much games as I play, but like in terms of actual games, I'd be a lot more broke than I am.
Oh, you mean like me?
Yeah, but you have Columbus power and a job, so you can afford to do it.
That is true.
What is Columbus power?
I don't know, the rent's lower or something. And the roads don't like destroy your car, so you probably don't have to buy tires every couple months.
That is extremely true. The roads are nice here.
The dream, if only.
Yeah.
I caught up on another episode of My Hero, though.
Emergency update, Lisa Simpson is 8 years old.
You know what? There we go. She's 8, and that probably makes Bart 10, because he's in 5th grade, or something. I don't actually know.
I don't know. I don't watch the new Simpsons.
They haven't aged if you watch the old Simpsons.
You're right.
You're right.
You're right.
I know that Arnold and Gerald from Harold are like in 4th grade.
Yeah.
And Wolfgang's in 5th grade, despite being 2 times as tall as Arnold. And
the
Jack,
6th graders are like fucking enormous.
Like Torvald is a grown-ass man. Like he got held back twice. Like, he got held back twice? This man is 35. And he seems like he's doing it on purpose. Just so he can win at football. Anyway, yeah. My Hero released another episode, I'm assuming also in their home studios. This was the one where he completes the fight with Gentle Criminal.
Gentle Criminal.
Who is very interesting that they made a hero who has, like, a sympathetic backstory again, whose ultimate crime was just, like, trespassing. Yep. That's his ultimate goal, was trespassing. And maybe filming without a permit. Which, you know.
He's like just such a weird character, because, like, what's his, like, this fight is, like, so high stakes, quote unquote, but it's like, I just want to be noticed, I guess, but then it's like, but everyone's worked so hard for the festival.
It's...
Respect their hard work.
Which is
such an anime fucking thing.
It is. Like, we know the stakes of this are at first blush and even second and third pretty low. Like, a festival will get canceled, but like...
I think it's pretty high stakes because we have to have Airy smile.
We do. But also, like, if you had got broken into...
I was like, Airy Smile? Is that the name of their band?
No.
And I remembered that Airy is a character.
The little girl who forgot how to smile, which Deku is very, like, sure to tell Gentle, we need to do this for a girl who doesn't even remember how to smile. Bro, what are you talking about? But, no, it's, if you got broken into again, that might be wraps for, like, this school year. Like, they might just shut it down and be like, you guys can't protect our children for 3 weeks in a row. We're shutting you down.
We let them move onto campus, and you still can't figure this out.
But... no, I liked this episode. What was funny to me, and I want to go back and watch the subbed version, because you know how President Mike always does, like, the introduction to a character's, like, quirk? Mm-hmm. He was doing one for La Brava.
La Brava.
Which, strange quirk, but the way he was talking sounded like somebody who was recording at home and didn't want to wake people up, but still had to try to project. Like, I'm trying to yell very loudly. And, again... no diss to him, because it still sounded good, and I don't know if he was just trying to be tense for the moment, but I'm like, this doesn't sound like a dude who's always yelling, and God bless them, or whatever blessings you want to give to people for getting this out during a quarantine. I'm not here to criticize, I'm just curious to know, like, was he originally supposed to yell and had to subdue? Because that'd be an interesting insight.
He was definitely originally supposed to yell, I can tell you from having watched the sub version.
Okay.
It's the recording in my closet, in my voice actor's apartment.
Which, the reason I get even more pause is because when they went to the school festival and he announces that it's starting, he's yelling again. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, did you... I don't know. But I liked the episode. Did you record
part of this while your kid was napping? Like,
hey, I mean, I get it. I'm happy they were able to put anything out. I'm really enjoying it. I liked the fight. I like this was a good fight for Deku. Like, man, I couldn't just brute force my way out of this one because you have an interesting quirk.
See, that's what I think is the most fun thing sometimes about... I mean, like, obviously, like, I love the side characters and everything, but one of the things I love the most about MHA is that Deku is, like, not an idiot, and, like, is very strategy focused.
Is he not an idiot?
I mean, he's an idiot in like, some ways, but, like,
he doesn't
just...
out that kicks are like punches with your legs.
But, like, when he fights people, like, it's not just, like, Natsu from Fairy Tail, who literally wins every, like, boss fight by just trying harder. Like, there's no, like, let me think about how to do this. Like,
Deku is a very good battle strategist and student.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he has a very specific skill set.
Like, if you take him out of those two things, like, if you forced him to fight, and then, like, broke his arms, like, before, without One for All, and he saw somebody kick somebody, he probably would have figured it out then. But if you're like, hey, Deku, how do you hit something when you can't punch it? I don't think he wouldn't understand that. I mean, like, but you just got 100% on the anatomy test we took. The only person who got a higher score than you was Bakugo and Momo, because they got the extra credit. How did you forget about legs? But while he's fighting Gentle, he's like, oh, there's all these elastic pads in the air, so if I shoot an air bullet at the sky, I can bounce it off of it, hit him. Like, bro, like, you know how much geometry you needed to do that, and you thought of it while you're flying through the air, but you forgot to use your legs.
You forgot you had legs.
Okay. Which is like, oh yes, shonen protagonist, that's right.
Well, it's, like, very, like, specific, like, 13-year-old boy dumb, like... I'm very good
at... I had legs all the time.
Well, like, he's very good at, like, this video game thing of, like, doing a strategy or, like, doing a specific, like, math or something, but he cannot for the life of him, like, talk to a girl or remember he has legs.
No common sense.
It's kind of... When you say forgot how to use his legs, it's funny. When they release Sombra into Overwatch, like, she cancels all your channeled abilities and, like, passive abilities, they call them. So, like, Lucio can't wall ride or play his music anymore, Mercy can't float, or that kind of thing. One of the abilities in the game that you activate is Soldier 76 sprinting. So, like, when he gets hacked, he just forgets how to run. And people... However, since his ultimate is, like, a transformation ultimate, it means he just goes into a state for a while. When he uses his tactical visor, it's computer-assisted aim. If he turns that on before he gets hacked, that doesn't get shut off by an EMP. No, not the thing that's mechanical, but he does forget how to run. Which means he's the Deku of Overwatch, you know? Maybe Deku just got hacked one time in the past and forgot how to use his legs.
That's possible, I guess.
Also in this episode, it just cuts to like 5 seconds of Mei Hatsume say, making a robot and Overloader, or whatever that guy's name is, like, maybe you should clean up. She's like, nah, if I'm dirty, like, people will know I worked on this machine. And then just cuts away, like, oh, that was essential to the plot. They could have got this 5 seconds out. We wouldn't know what she's doing in the meantime. But I really love this school. I love Class 1B. How one dude's a whole jackass. He's like, yes, I entered my friend into the beauty pageant, so maybe we could beat Class 1A and something else. Ha 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 ha. It's a good show is what I'm saying.
It is.
It's good shit.
You know what else is a good show is I watched another episode of Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Oh, how's that going?
Do tell.
Some things happened. So they introduced some new characters in this episode, one of which is a man who can shoot a bow impossibly far, and that's his whole thing, I guess.
So Hanzo?
Kind of, yeah. He has an eye patch.
Like Hanzo?
Yeah.
Well, he has a leg eye patch.
Right. I don't really, like... there wasn't a whole lot of plot happening other than, like, you know, the girl who has the holy sword part inside of her that doesn't want to get taken by the evil empire. Oh, we have to protect her. Well, main character says, no, fuck you, I'm gonna go do something else. And then that's when he meets the weird bowman and his white friend? His
like,
name...
Caucasian?
Yes, Caucasian. Like, that's his only defining character trait so far, is that he is Caucasian and talks a whole lot. And that,
I mean, that tracks.
And then, like, they fight a boss, essentially, and they win, and then that's the end of the they end the episode by the bowman shooting an arrow straight into the head of the main character. So,
Shit.
Don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm sure he's going to be fine. That show continues to be visually stunning, but, like, at the same time, just, like, every time I sit down to watch it, I can't help but think, like, what the hell am I watching? What even is this? Why is this in existence? So...
I mean, that sounds like a good show, then.
Yeah,
I'm really
for sure.
curious. So I didn't last week look up at a picture of this. Oh, okay. These were, like, the kind of... So are these, like, the kind of dolls that, like, people bring to conventions and have, like...
Yes.
Okay.
And scare me with? Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was thinking of, like, fucking, like, Mr. Rogers shit. Like...
I would watch that, too, but no.
Yeah, holy shit, these costumes are out of control.
Yeah, they're very cool, very well designed and everything, but yeah.
You want to say the name again real quick?
Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Thunderbolt Fantasy.
As everybody goes to look at art from it. Yeah, it's one of those things that I more recommend based on the fact that, like, aesthetically it is so interesting. And, like, I'm sure the story is good, too. I have a hard time following it.
No idea what it is, but I'm sure it's
Fantasy
good.
shit.
Yeah, I forgot to mention in the first episode, it ends with the main character cutting the head off of a villain, and then he doesn't cut the head off the villain cuts his own head off.
You know,
and then
sometimes
throws
it'd be like
to
that.
a bird, and the bird takes it back to the villain's headquarters, and then the head tells the main guy, like the main evil guy, what just happened. I don't know. Sorry, that's spoilers for the first 2 episodes of Thunderbolt Fantasy.
I'm really just trying to process.
But that's all I watched this week. I didn't do a whole lot of viewing, mostly just playing.
Yeah, you've got, I mean, like, between Animal Crossing and you have a bunch of other video games.
Yes, it was my birthday this week, so...
Happy birthday.
Thank you,
Happy birthday.
So
Thanks,
I bought
Frosty.
myself just a whole slew of video games, because while I was playing Final Fantasy VII, I was like, you know what? This is fun, like, just this mashing and killing enemies, but what would be really fun is playing a Dynasty Warriors game. And
Not wrong.
Yeah, and then I was like, what if I just bought 4 Dynasty Warriors games? And so I did. And I've been playing those, and so far I think I'm between Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate and Dragon Quest Heroes 2 being my 2 favorites for 2 different reasons. Dragon Quest Heroes 2 does some really interesting things where it basically combines an RPG with a Dynasty Warriors game, because you can still go out and, like, you go into cities and you walk around, like, with your character and go pick up quests, go to stores, go to inns, that kind of stuff. And then when you go out into the field like you would in an RPG, it's just like that. There are enemies walking around and stuff, but instead of going into, you know, turn-based battles with them, you just beat them to death with your sword, a la Dynasty Warriors.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
Yeah, so that's a neat mix on it. And then Warriors Orochi 4 is just good because it's a combination of all of the Dynasty Warriors games. And then, additionally, I also got Trials of Mana, which is the new Square Enix RPG that came out on Friday. And I say new, but it's a remake of a game from the Super Nintendo.
Which is, I guess, their steez right now? Like...
Yes, it's super their thing right now. But this one was never released in America until the Switch release of it, like, last year sometime. And I was so excited for this game. I really loved it was Seiken Densetsu 3 was the Japanese name. And I loved that game. I played it a lot when I was in middle school and high school on an emulator, like with a fan translation. But like,
ooh, accuracy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm just sad to report that like it is so clearly made by the B team. And like I hate to say that because I'm sure these people worked very hard on the game, but it's just like it's fun to play. The combat is fun. It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look great. Like they're definitely nailing the anime style they're going for, but it doesn't do anything amazing with it. Like environments look kind of rough, and I think a lot of that has to do because it was also developed for the Switch, and like I'm playing it on PS4.
Okay.
So, like,
they wanted to be optimized on the Switch and work really well with that.
Yeah, so it doesn't look great blown up. Like, I'm playing it on a PS4 Pro, like, this could look amazing if I wanted it, you know, if it wanted to, but it doesn't want to, so... and...
It just doesn't want to look good.
It doesn't want to.
And, like, I've run into some funny, like, you know, bugs, like, I was... you know, scrolling into a new zone and it does like a pan around to show you the area, and just in the background the entire time was my character T-posing. and you know, it's like, ooh, cinematic of like this, you know, area that like doesn't look all that visually impressive because it's not like that, like it's just not that kind of game, and that's still taken away from the fact that my character's in the back just in a T-pose. Like,
wild.
Yeah, but like they reorchestrated all the original music, and the soundtrack is fantastic, and you know it as I said, it feels fun to play. It's just, you know, not
everything you were hoping for.
The thing is, I was never fooled into thinking it wasn't getting a remake like Final Fantasy VII. Like, you know, they weren't going to pour that kind of resources into a game that they don't think, like, they have no reason to know whether or not it would be a big hit.
Right. So it probably was their B team to see like if they can get a project out there and set up, because we know what the A team's been doing for the last several years. It's been Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like they announced this last year, kind of like to the surprise of everybody. So this was probably not that long of a development cycle. On top of like it being developed at the same time as Final Fantasy VII remake and like Final Fantasy XIV's constant like updates and their whole team, like, so you know that like talent, I don't want to say talent, like I feel
it's probably not their most like senior
resources.
talent though, like,
yes, it's they're not pouring as many resources into this, you know.
I mean that makes sense too.
Yeah, but I mean overall it's been fun so far. I've only beaten the first boss because I've been too busy playing Dynasty Warriors. But,
the eternal struggle. Speaking of that, when the hell are we going to get Persona 5 Scramble over here?
You can get it right now if you want, in Japanese.
Yeah. Does it have English subtitles?
No.
Yeah, see, I'd play it with subtitles, but like...
Atlas still has not committed to a release date. They'll bring it over eventually. If it's anything like previous Atlas games, it'll probably be about like 4 to 8 months.
I can wait that long.
Because that's generally the turnaround on their translation team, and like they are clearly working on it. The only thing that might be delaying it is the current pandemic situation. I
mean, I could wait because of that. Like, if I know that it's coming one day, I'm fine with that. Like,
yeah,
if
it's definitely coming one day. It's the same thing happened with Shin Megami Tensei 4 on the DS. Got like an updated version called like Apocalypse or something. And when that got released,
I love Japanese titles for games.
Yeah. When that got released, it never got an English release date, but then like I think it was like 6 months later or so, like we eventually got it. Yeah, it's just what they do. Okay,
I'm fine. Yeah, this is my first like adventure in the Persona series because my partner played it, and because she's really into RPGs, and it was on sale one day in the PS4 store or the PlayStation store. I'm like, yeah, I think you'd like that, seeing as you like turn-based stuff and slice of life stuff, and you like anime. And she really liked it, and I was enthralled with it. I lost many days of productivity and doing things that I could have been doing just to watch somebody play Persona 5.
Watch somebody else play Persona 5.
Which I think was a good use of my time, because I love that soundtrack, I love that game.
It's very good. That whole series is very good.
Yeah. So. I mean, that's why we know each other, because we had friends that were into Persona, and they met you at a convention's Persona photo shoot, right? That's how we all know each other?
That's right. I was running the photo shoot.
Wild stuff.
So.
Who would have thought? Wow, look at us now, like Paul Rudd would say. But yeah, so And I like the Dynasty Warriors type games. I played Hyrule Warriors and really enjoyed it. So I'm like, I think I'd like Dynasty Warriors as long as it has a coat of paint that I like.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Persona 5 Scramble as well. And like, I'll be honest, Trials of Mana kind of plays like a Dynasty Warriors game.
Nice.
So, because the combat
so you
is
have
all
a type
active.
right now?
Yeah, I definitely have a type at the moment, because the combat's all active, and like previously, like in the original version, you know, when an enemy used a move, you couldn't dodge it. No, everything's telegraphed now. There's, you know, boxes on the ground, like red circles and stuff where things are going to be, and you can just dodge roll out of everything. So, like, I beat the first boss without taking a single hit, because, like, I could see everything it was doing. Like,
nice. I guess is that their move now with Final Fantasy VII and Kingdom Hearts and Legends of Secrets of Mana? Like, they're just going to do action stuff now?
I mean, Final Fantasy 15 was that way as well, and I think it's always been kind of moving in that direction since probably about Final Fantasy 10 and, well, 10 was turn-based, but then, like, 12 was when they went to more of a, like, it was still turn-based, but it was action-y in that you could move around and stuff during combat, so...
So we're just going to forget about 10-2? We're going to act like that didn't happen?
Yep.
What game?
10-2.
Yeah, sorry, what?
Sorry, say it again?
You say a word, but it just like, it comes in as fuzz. I don't know.
It's 102. 100. You know, Final Fantasy 102.
Final Fantasy 102.
Yeah.
You know, in the year 3020. No, I'm not hating on 10-2. 10-2 was also turn-based.
Yeah. I played a little bit of that game. Didn't get very far.
10-2 the one where you change clothes?
Yes. The dress spheres.
Yeah, like that Jay-Z song, Change Clothes and Go.
That kind of came back in Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, which was the third of the Final Fantasy 13 games. Try to wrap your head around that.
Yes, 13-1, 13-2, 13-3.
Yes. So it was 13, 13-2, and then Lightning Returns. So,
was she not in 13-2?
Well, no. You played as her sister, who looks exactly like her.
Yes, Thunder.
No, her name was Sarah. You know, Lightning and Sarah, the two things I would name my daughters.
Is it spelled S-E-R-A or like?
Yes, it's spelled S-E-R-A.
Okay, that's fine. At least, I guess Lightning could be a name because they don't have lightning there. They just have like Thunder, Thunderaga. Like
that's true. But no, Lightning Returns also had like the clothing was like the way that you changed classes and got different abilities. It was very, very weird, but also pretty cool.
Lightning begins, the lightning night.
Yes, yeah.
The lightning night rises.
Yes, Lightning's sister, Lightningaga.
Lightnaga.
Yes, Light Yagami.
Well, no, first it'd be Lightning Nara, Lightning... whatever.
Lightning Aga?
Yeah, Lightning Aga.
I've played enough Kingdom Hearts to know this joke. Oh, no. What else? What else is going on? There's so much.
Oh, God.
I guess I played some games this week.
Yeah, we could do Animal Crossing.
Yeah. You guys played Animal Crossing. What's going on with that? I heard they got some more updates.
Yeah, there was an update.
Wait, I want to do two small updates that I'm not going to elaborate on, but one of them is Nintendo related. Fortnite had another event where Travis Scott put on a concert.
Oh, the Vocaloid show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it basically was a Vocaloid show that you got to participate in, but people said, it started as a concert, and then it stopped being a concert and more of an experience, but like not in a pretentious way, more of like, this was kind of a level that you played in Fortnite, which doesn't have that. You have to just watch it to see what it is. It looked pretty cool. I'm glad they're using stuff this way. People were more excited about this one than the Marshmallow one, especially since it kind of dropped out of nowhere. And Mario Maker 2 finally got a thing where you can make worlds now. Like, you can make, instead of just one level, you can link them.
Yeah, that is actually super cool. And they also got that Super Mario Bros. 2 power-up, so you get, like, the mechanics from that game. That's really neat.
Yeah, and the frog suit, which I guess some people like. But yeah, those are two cool little updates before you guys get back to Animal Crossing. Sorry.
Which also has a big update this week.
That's what reminded me.
Yeah.
And Splatoon's getting another Splatfest in a couple of weeks.
Say what?
Also, download Ninjala, but we're doing another ketchup versus mayonnaise Splatfest. White ink confirmed, but Team Marina all the way, baby. I'm a black octopus and I'm proud.
Steph, would you like to?
Let me talk about some cross
why
animals.
don't you try to unpack what the update was?
So, Animal Crossing updated. It included, sadly, apparently, a patch. I haven't been trainshell hunting since, but apparently a patch that dropped bug prices slightly, which is a bummer. But additionally, included the ability to add art to your museum. So, it isn't like the art you've made, it's like actual art from the real world.
Yeah, it's something that was in previous iterations of the game, but they waited for a patch to do it this time.
So, like, once every other day, this sketchy fox comes to the back of your island and, like, pops up on your secret beach and offers you the opportunity to buy paintings from him. And statues to put in your art museum. And only one of them, or in very rare cases, none of them, are actual, are like not forgeries, like they're like the real deal. And so you have to look very closely at the art to see if it's the real deal. Like the girl with the pearl earring painting has like a big like star instead of.
And okay, to be fair, that is not having to look very closely. If the painting title is Girl with the Pearl Earring and she doesn't have the pearl earring, it's probably a fake.
Well, though it was in Red's shop this morning, and I like had to like squint at it because it's still like very badly lit in the shop, and I was like, this just looks a little. You can zoom in
on the painting, right?
Yeah, I was zoomed in, my guy.
Oh wow.
I was like, I'm just gonna look at the other ones first and see what they look like, and then go back to this one if the rest of them are bad. But then the one there was one that was definitely a real, so I just bought that.
Safe bet.
Yeah, this is just sketchy fox being like a trickster, like foxes be.
He's the whole reason we don't get to have fox villagers, and that makes me really sad.
That's a bummer.
Right?
It's like racist against foxes.
I know. My favorite
like, just
animal.
This one
we
fox
can't even have them in the villages.
Just because this one fox is a art forger.
And he's not even forging them himself. He's just a shady dealer.
Yeah, he is the suspicious dealer that Kagamine, Rin, and Len warned us about.
Exactly.
But yeah, so, you can have an art museum. You buy them from Red the fox, like, on the day he shows up, and then they're shipped the next day. So, like, you don't get to, like, take them to the museum right now. Like, the first day, the one that I bought, was Starry Night. And it is the only thing in the art gallery of my museum right now. Just a big empty
the same
room.
Thing for me. I have one big empty room with a really hideous painting.
They all have, like, weird code names, like Starry Night with Twinkling Painting, which, like, it doesn't super make sense. Like, if they were copywritten, I guess it would make sense, but...
These are classical paintings, there's no way that they're copywritten. Like,
yeah.
You can't tell me that Michelangelo's David is something else, like, no.
No. Like, what? Naked statue? Like...
Yeah. Tiny penis.
But yeah, so you have an art museum now, and it's Nature Week, which means that you can buy bushes to plant on your island from a sketchy clown sloth.
He's not sketchy, you just don't like clowns.
Clowns are by definition sketchy. I am absolutely alright with, like, profiling clowns as a whole.
He's also not a clown.
Fucking sloths don't have faces like that naturally.
Sometimes having, like, clown-like tendencies counts,
They have weird faces. Their faces look like that, but they're not, like, bright red and green.
It's white.
There are colors on his face that are not the natural colors of a sloth. In the same way that my one squirrel is, like, bright, like, fire engine red and yellow.
Yes, God forbid a video game take liberties with the colorations of its animals.
Sonic's blue.
You know, if it was in a way that was not vaguely horrifying, I would not judge.
I hope the clown sheep comes and moves in on your island.
I already have the ugliest islanders I possibly could, so... Yeah, does anything else? Like, Nature Day is much less of a struggle than Egg Day was.
Yeah, well, and also, like, I think Leaf is going to be a continued vendor. Like, he'll show up kind of like the shoe salesperson does, stuff like that. Like, even after Nature.
My guy Kicks.
Yeah, your guy Kicks.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog is also in Animal Crossing, except
but they made him.
He's the Able sister, right?
Yeah, she's very good at sewing.
That's his sister. They made a vow to save their mother. She's gonna do it through selling stuff. That's a joke for 6 people max. That's a really bad joke.
But yeah, the bushes look nice. You get more flowers. That get rewards for doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's like special like Nook Miles tasks that are Nature Day themed that have like bonus miles and shit. Like,
but it's pretty established that Nook Miles are useless after a point.
Yeah, after a point when you're no longer like needing to mine resources as actively, like you're not, or like even like at this point, like I'm not super like dying for money either, and so it's not like a super. It's not like especially useful to have the Nook Miles because you use them to buy Nook Miles tickets mostly.
Yeah, and without needing to do that, there's almost no purpose for
to go to Mystery Islands to harvest resources.
Yeah,
but I am eventually. I'm eventually going to go and buy the rest of the like patterns for the paths and stuff, but it takes such a long time for the stupid machine to process your requests that I'm not going to sit here and do this.
Yeah, that's something to do while you're working.
25 minutes, yeah. I'll do that on the clock. But, yeah, let's see. Anything else about Animal Crossing? My house is really cute.
You officially passed me up in, like, progress in the game, so...
How so?
You paid off your house and I didn't.
Oh, true. I was going to say, you have the fancier... Nook's Cranny, though.
Yeah, I've spent more time, like, upgrading things within my island, like putting out furnishings and doing
I have a lot of
stuff.
A lot of bridges.
Yeah.
The student has become the teacher, but a new student. You got your roommate in Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah, my roommate got a Switch. It came on Sunday, actually. Weirdly enough, FedEx delivered. And so she's gotten really into it. She's been really getting into like the like workarounds and stuff. Like there's a way that you can like mess with the internal settings on your Switch to change what time it is, so that
she time traveled.
Yeah, so you can time travel to like.
That's cheating.
It's cheating.
She cheated not only the game but also herself. She learned nothing. That's the greatest copy pasta of all time. And I hope it never goes away. No, I really don't give a shit if people time travel in Animal Crossing.
No, I don't either.
No,
if it makes your experience better, then it's good.
Yeah, as long as you're having a good time, like, totally do your thing. I am not interested in doing it just because, like, I'm playing Animal Crossing to relax.
I'm also terrified that if I time travel a whole lot, like, my villagers will leave, and I've just spent, like, 2 weeks getting all of the exact villagers that I want. So I don't want that to happen.
Fair.
Also, Steph.
Yeah?
You need to watch out for her. Because you've weathered the She doesn't play a lot of video games, correct?
No, I mean, this is her first console. I mean, we have an old Wii, but we've never used it.
I mean, I'm not going to say there weren't games on the Wii, but everyone has one, and I'm not going to... We just kind of relaxed with the Wii. Like, the Wii was fun. We all used it for what it was for. Let's have fun. That's good. That's great. That's everyone's intro. But Animal Crossing is a serious game. Now, you have weathered the waters. You've been frustrated. You've almost thrown a controller. I'm not saying you have, but you felt the urge.
That mood.
You've tried to cross the bridge in Crash Bandicoot. You've 100% in Spyro. Like, you beat Okami. Like, you're even playing Necrodancer. Like, you've run the gamut. So you're like, I need a game to relax. But your roommate, she could fall down the hole. She might become a gamer.
She's on that tipping point. Malcolm Gladwell would be very concerned.
Just tell her that there are no other video games, that Animal Crossing is the only video game.
It's the only video game. She's lucky in that her job, like, which is also, like, able to be done digitally, or, like, work from homely, doesn't require, like, she's, like, a administrative assistant, so she doesn't have, if the person she works for isn't getting, like, a call or doesn't need, like, a conference set up, they don't care what she does in between that.
That sounds like a good time to harvest vegetables.
So there's, like, no consequence for her playing Animal Crossing on the clock, whereas for me...
And for me.
And for Eric, there are more of those.
Yeah. And
well, if she ever gets
still
really
see
into
you online during the day.
And to see me online, you need to be online. So
I'm very rarely online during work hours. Not that I'm working. Hey, well, if she ever gets into the min-maxing aspect of this stuff, Stardew Valley's waiting.
Yeah. That's true.
What else? Oh, anything else with Animal Crossing?
No.
I think so.
I played a new game this week, XCOM Chimera Squad. It's set after... So it's a turn-based strategy game. I don't know what to compare it to. It's, you move your units...
Like the other Xbox games.
Xbox games.
So yeah, so it is basically the XCOM games. If you haven't played XCOM, you get soldiers, and it has permadeath involved. So if one of your soldiers dies on the field, they're just dead forever. But you can
R.I.P. forever.
Yeah, there's lots of ways
scary. It's like scary future hard Fire Emblem.
Yeah, if you play any of those, but so apparently the story goes that the first one was so hard and so few people were able to beat it without like cheesing it that they just made it canon that the aliens won the invasion in the first game. So in the second game is after they've invaded and integrated into like are running your society now. There's still like a group of people, think Avalanche or any kind of like social justice terrorists that are like, yo, the aliens are lying to us and using our bodies for like science and like further like some bullshit, which is actually the truth. So you do that and you win, you eventually drive the bad aliens out. There's tons of people that were made into aliens, which was part of their project. They're like, well, we're the aliens now, but we're not bad. And they're like,
we're aliens now.
We can just integrate you into society, dog. Like, it's fine. Like, we don't care if you're a snake person or like this rock man. Like, we're all people here.
Rockman.
Yeah, Rockman and bass, or in Forte. Mega Man.
His name is Rock Lee, not Rockman.
There were a lot of references very quickly just now.
Toph's not a man. She's a rock lady. But anyway, so in the future, people are like, yo, we're all living as a peaceful society. And some people are like, yo, fuck that.
Fuck your peaceful society.
We're a group of aliens and we want to strike back. Some people are like, yo, we're humans and we don't want these aliens around. Some people are like, yo, I'm fine with all this, but this is a great time to just be a terrorist, I suppose. So you're playing what's basically super cops. You're just stopping terrorists. You don't seem to like arrest regular people. Like there is a PD. You're in City 31. They're just called the 31 PD. They just do whatever cops do. You're like, well, if people need to get blown up and they're trying to kill people, that's when we swoop in. It's like, okay, but it has like cornier writing than the original ones, like definitely on purpose. But it's pretty fun. It has like a new breach mode where like you blow up a door or something and bust in and like shoot the bad guys and stuff like that. Same combat, but instead of all your guys go, then all their guys go. It's some of yours will go, some of theirs will go. There's a pretty diverse cast, like the original XCOM had. There's men and women of lots of different ethnicities and races and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. They all have the same capabilities. The only difference is just what they look like and what their character voice sounds like. Nice. But it's pretty fun. It's kind of like XCOM Lite in a few ways. I think instead of permadeath, I think if you don't have it like on the permadeath mode, if your guys die, you just restart the mission. Because they're all named characters. There's like a finite number instead of just infinite nobodies. So it's pretty fun. I streamed it when it came out on Friday, and probably will keep doing that. But
yeah, that was one I was looking into because I enjoy the XCOM series. So
well, if you enjoy the XCOM series, I recommend this one. It's kind of like that.
You like XCOM?
I do.
Yeah, that's a game my partner got me into. She plays it on the PS4 and got one on the PC. And so that's a game I watched her play a lot. And in the original XCOMs, you can name your soldiers and customize them a little bit more, like change where they're from. You can change what they look like. So we have like lots of different characters, like people we know, people from like animes and stuff like that. Which is something I remember Austin Walker doing and stuff like that. Like all their soldiers are just people that they know. So like it hurts even worse. Like, no, I don't want them to die. I know that person's like it's still like a fake character, but I definitely
Giant Bomb's playthrough of XCOM 1 was very entertaining for that reason.
Yeah, I remember when people were excited when the second one came out, but I didn't know what everyone was up in arms about.
What the hype was about.
But I remember we had one of the characters we named in her XCOM, well, she did, was named after her cat. Like, I think before he passed away. So, like, anytime we would see it, like, it's kind of like a nice reminder of, like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
And they all get, like, a call sign, like demolition or, like, wild style or something like that. So, and I always called him Little Man, so like, his call sign is Little Man. I'm like, oh. So it always just reminds me of him. And then we have, like, little fan fictions and, like, ship some of the characters, even though there's absolutely no reason to, but we still did it, though. It's a fun game. It has a fun aesthetic. It's a little corny, but it's definitely on purpose, so. It's $10 still, I think, until the end of the week. The pre-order price and to buy it was $10. I think it's $9 on Humble Bundle. And it'll go up to $20 at the end of the week, so if you want to get it, better now than later, so.
I will do that immediately.
Yeah, so I should probably edit this
live
and put it
on
up.
podcast.
But to finish things off, what do we have? DuckTales, right?
We have DuckTales.
Explain to me the tales of the duck, please.
Eric, have you ever heard of Ocean's 11?
Explain to me the 11 of Oceans, please.
Well, this episode's called Louis 11.
Do you know about...
I do know Ocean's 11.
Are you familiar with the Met Gala?
Yes.
It's a little bit of that.
So this is actually, it's kind of like, it's very much more Ocean's 8 than it is Ocean's 11 because Ocean's 8 actually is them heisting the Met Gala.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the three caballeros, Donald and his two comrades, want to make the It List, like fake Duck Anna Wintour's It List.
Yeah, they want their band to be famous, and Scrooge won't bankroll it because he doesn't want to.
Because he thinks they're bad. And also
because they are bad.
They are also very bad. But, so they decide that to ask Louis Louis offers to help, and his scheme to get them famous is to get them to sneak them into this exclusive party at a museum so that fake Duck Anna Wintour sees them and is so awestruck by their musical abilities that she puts them on their It List.
Which is basically...
Or on her It List, which is like her...
Oprah's favorite things.
Yeah. So they like do this whole like heist deal where they have to sneak in, and there are like villains from previous episodes there.
I think those are foul villains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're there to just rob it. They don't have any bigger plan other than stealing her cell phone. Actually, it's just they just wanted her cell phone.
Yeah, they've been hired by Mark Beeks to steal her cell phone so that he could use it to put him on the It List, put himself on the It List.
Because clout, he's continuously just chasing clout. Which
it turns out that
the thief was not excited. He's like, "Oh no, it's Mark Beeks again!" Like,
oh, not you! You're the person who hired us. Fuck
it turns
this
out
guy.
He didn't even. So he's like, "I guess I'm not going to give it to you." Then he tried to steal it back and not give it.
He was like, "Fuck this." Yeah, and then like the subplot of the episode is that Daisy Duck is Anna Wintour Duck's personal assistant, and she gets trapped in an elevator with Donald. And, like, actually likes his voice and, like, thinks he's a good singer. And, like, they have, like, their little meet cute stuck in this elevator.
And when she hears him sing, it's the Don Cheadle voice instead of, like, his regular voice. Which, for those who don't know, Don Cheadle will voice Donald whenever they need him to talk regular. And he has, like, a moment. So Daisy Duck introduced as love interest for Donald. Three caballeros make a reappearance. The heist is a absolute failure until Dewey is allowed to, like, do his thing. To Dewey his thing.
Dewey his thing.
Which I think is what he said.
Yeah. Just as cringeworthy as you might imagine.
But it turns out he was an expert in... I think her name's Glamour. They always call her Glamour. And turns out that he had properly looked at her blog and assessed what the next trend would be. That it'd be yo-yo tricks. He was correct. Everyone was all inspired and horrified by it, but enough to get him on the It List. And I guess the big revelation and twist of the episode, I mean, we spoiled it, but spoilers, I guess. They're spoilers, is that that's just Mark Beeks' mom, and everyone's like, oh yeah, they are just the same exact type of owl with the same eye color and head shape. Yeah, okay. I think at the end, Dewey and Lou were like, oh yeah, I guess it should have been obvious. Like,
like, I guess and they're both also obsessed with clout. Like, Glamour's whole thing is her it list, which is just, like, making certain things popular and controlling what is popular in the zeitgeist, like. So, like, the apple doesn't fall far from the clout tree.
I mean, it kind of puts his character into perspective. He wants to, like, it's probably like some, like,
There's
Oedipal
some
nonsense
issues.
of, yeah, like, I need to outclout my mom. Like, I mean, it plays.
Also, like, not to draw too many deep parallels to the real world, but that's what I do. Is it makes me think a lot of Elon Musk, who everyone's like, oh, he's just like a genius with like an edgy genius, and it's like, you know, he had the money to start his company because his dad owns an emerald mine owned an emerald mine in apartheid South Africa, like.
Yeah,
like,
there's no
Mark
reason.
Beeks had the money to start, like, his company because his mom is,
yeah,
like, also rich and clout-filled.
And I don't know, and that's assuming he started. I don't know if it was like a Steve Jobs situation where he just kind of runs it, like, and he wasn't even the one who came up with all of this. Well, Steve Jobs had a lot of stuff, but he's not the one who invented Apple, right? That was Tim Apple.
Oh yeah, Tim Apple. That guy, Tim Apple.
Or was it like Wozniak?
I was gonna say Wozniak and Jobs. I think were the
yeah. So I don't know if there's any indication that Mark Beeks has actually ever invented anything. But yeah, he definitely got money. He invented from his mom.
His robot son, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did do that. And that son is just out being a junior woodchuck,
doing his best.
Just being a real boy, actually.
He's out here trying to be a real boy.
But yeah, it was a fun episode. It's cool to see the brothers more and more learn to trust each other. They brought DJ Daft Duck back. That was pretty cool.
Also, like a Daft Punk reference.
Yeah, he has he has like a helmet that does light ups, and he like plays a little guitar. He did it in a previous episode. Dewey did it,
and then he got stuck in the helmet.
Yeah, this time he didn't get stuck. He easily took it off this time. I appreciate that Webby just seems to be down for anything for no reason. Like,
yeah, Webby is like very much like the would be on Jackass of the DuckTales world.
They have her disable the elevator so Donald can like get a chance to steal a badge off Daisy. And I don't think there was any indication that she was ever like had to be convinced to do this. I'm sure Louis was like, "Hey, Webby, you want to be on an adventurous scheme?" And she's probably, yes, I do.
Yeah, of course.
Hell
yeah, I want to be in a scheme.
But yeah, it was fun. I liked watching it. It's a good episode. I like that Fowl is in all these episodes. I like they're bringing back the whole Saturday morning crew. I like that this is the same voice actress who's been Daisy for
I was 15
years, at least.
I recognize that voice. I was this must be Daisy Duck even before she's introduced.
Yeah, Tress MacNeille. I think it's... at least she was in a 1999 special, and probably longer, so... And something else that I looked up today but can't remember. But she's a famous voice actress, you probably know her. But
yeah. That's
good
the
show.
DuckTales. Good show.
That is the DuckTales. Good old summer block. We talked about a lot of stuff again today. We've been having some pretty packed episodes.
We have so many facts and things.
This has been
facts and updates.
A hell of a week. Don't drink disinfectant.
Please don't.
Please don't inject it. Don't shove a light bulb up your butt.
Actually, that's not. Don't ever do that.
Really don't do that. I wasn't kidding about that. That was the thing you really shouldn't do.
Yeah, don't watch Bleach either. It's very long.
Oh, and BB New Earth was Emma Glamour. She was Morticia Addams on Broadway for a while. She's like another one of those, like, you know how they got like Broadway stars to play all of the diamonds in Steven Universe?
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah, she's one of those types.
I love this new thing. It feels new to me. I'm newly aware of this, of having like Broadway stars and like major people who do something that you consider high art and important art doing something that's considered like a low art, but it's still really cool. Like hearing the Diamonds sing in the various songs is so funny because it's like, no, this is very good singing, of course, because these people do this.
These people are powerhouse Broadway like legends.
Like the only missed opportunity that we had was like, it was very cool when Nicki Minaj voiced Sugilite, the fusion between Garnet and Amethyst, and I'm like, there's no reason that a fusion involving Garnet didn't have Beyonce. Like, I don't know how much it could have cost if Viacom had to have that money. We could have had her say one thing. That's all I'm saying. What a missed opportunity. But very cool, nonetheless. So, and Dee Dee Mango Hall, who did the pearls, all the pearls, and a couple other voices. Her voice is very fun to listen to. Apparently, like, she crushed it so hard in that song "It's Over," isn't it? The Pearl saying that they had to, like, go back and redo the storyboard because it's supposed to be like a lot more toned down, and she just crushed it. Like, well, we're not getting rid of that. So,
I also saw that tweet.
have you ever watched Steven Universe, Eric?
The times that we watched it together at conventions.
I'll assume that happened.
I believe that happened.
Yeah,
I have no memory of it.
A few times.
It's a good show. I recommend people go back and give it a watch when you get some time. Maybe skip through it a little bit. Just jump to episode 50 and just see if you want to watch how they got there. But yeah.
I'm always, every time you have me on as a guest, I'm going to be the one who is like, I don't have a whole lot to say show-wise. I watch a few animes, apparently this puppet show, and that's about it.
But you're a JRPG consultant, so...
That's true.
We're...
video games in general, a lot of that.
So we're all good here, y'all.
We all have our skills, you know?
Yeah. We have good correspondence. We got a good host team going on. We're doing it for the listeners. Speaking of which, listeners, do you know how to contact us? Steph, do you think they know how to contact us?
Well, if they don't, I can tell them how.
Could you? Because I always get nervous and forget half of this stuff.
So if you want to subscribe to our podcast, you totally can do that by going to searching for Character Reveal in your podcast catcher of choice. You can listen to us over and over again in your browser by going to characterreveal.simplecast.fm. You can listen to clips and stuff and see photos on our Instagram, which is Character Reveal. It's just Character Reveal. The Twitter, where we boost our stuff and like hang out sometimes, is @CharacterRev. We have a Facebook page where we also share episodes. If you don't want to subscribe but you want to keep like an eye out for them, that's Character Reveal. You can find me on Twitter @Captain Steph, where I yell about things. You can find me on
rah,
General Strike, that kind of stuff. You can find me on Instagram @HellaSteph and on Tumblr @TheSnowQueer. You can find Eric on Twitter @TindyLosi, and you can find Dom anywhere he wants to be found on the internet @BrotherDom.
Woohoo!
And if you have any ideas for things we should watch or do, or ideas for our Getting By mini-cast or anything like that, you can hit us up on our email, which is characterreveal@gmail.com.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! That's all it is. Those are all the ways that they can talk to us.
It's time for me to spin on out of this chair, rotate on out of this guest seat.
Rotate away.
What's after 1080? 1250? No. Yeah. 1260.
Sure, math man.
1240.
No, 1240.
1240. I always forget. I always just say a
60,
number.
my guy.
Math. Someone said the better you get at like high level math, the worse you get at arithmetic. Addition. Someone's like, "Can you derive this long equation?" Like, yeah, of course I can. Okay, cool, Mr. Big Shot. What's 507 plus 77? You're like, bro, I don't know. It has to be at least 1200.
That tracks.
But yeah, listeners, thanks for listening to another episode of Geekly Reveal. As always, we appreciate you sticking with us, sharing our stuff around, checking out the Insta stories that we do, that kind of stuff. We do it in story form sometime, but sharing it around and watching, it means a lot to us, actually. It really does. But until next time, see you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Why, SpongeBob? Bye.
Why?